Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name is Austin. Amber Alert stars Hayden Panettiere and Tyler William James. A rideshare turns into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse after it follows a car fitting the description of a Amber Alert. One of the things from the trailers of Amber Alert that got me interested, I got some form of flashbacks to Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Which is a fantastic film. A film that is very thrilling between Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. I keep almost saying Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know why. But the tension between those two characters really build throughout the film. It's kind of the same thing with our main two characters here. Shane, who is somewhat of like an Uber driver. That is played by Tyler James Williams, who was also in The Walking Dead. It's kind of funny that we're watching all of a sudden these movies with these Walking Dead actors in them, like, you know, Starship Trooper with Gabriel. Don't remember the actor's name, but that's the character that he played in The Walking Dead. And we got Jack, played by Hayden, who is a passenger that needs to get to a certain location. And also you had Shane that needed to be somewhere at the same time. So they kind of come to common grounds with one another to do this one last trip. And next it turns into like almost like a speed heist situation where they kind of recognize a car that's from this Amber Alert that involves a guy kidnapping a kid. And seeing the tension build up with them guessing if this is the right car or not is actually very thrilling. It's the same thing with Jaws 2 with Chief Brody, where he's being questioned a lot of like, is there really another shark attack going on out there, or is it just coincidence that there's certain things happening? And you know for a fact you're going to get a shark, but the tension building up with that idea of like, is there actually a shark out there, and somewhat questioning yourself is a lot of fun. It's very thrilling to watch. Jaws 2 actually gets a lot of hate. I don't mind that film. It does have its problems for sure, but Jaws 2 is a good watch. And so it's very thrilling to watch these characters to be in a situation that is pretty grounded, that could actually possibly happen to, like, you know, you as a person in real life. So that makes it even more scary in itself. Because at some point they come encounter with this person, and so you're like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how crazy this guy is, or if this is even the real guy itself. The movie has all that going for it. With that being said, I do have somewhat problems with the film, mostly when it comes to the third act in itself. There's these storylines with our two main leads that kind of somewhat get dropped out of nowhere. Like the main reason why they are on the drive in the first place. Hayden has this blind date that kind of just gets never really resolved at all. Tyler, who plays Shane, has a kid, and his kid's birthday is that day, and that kind of never ever gets resolved too, when you also have a angry ex-wife, crazy ex-wife. And so you don't ever get to see any of those stuff kind of play out. Even the two main characters, their relationship is kind of like one-noted sometimes. Like even the introduction to Hayden's character, she's kind of like somewhat a dick slightly to Shane. She's like kind of waving this money in his face like, hey, I'll give you a big ass tip if you take me on this ride. And he really needs the money, and it kind of comes off like, you know, a selfish type of move as well, because you're guilt tripping this guy to be like, fuck, I really need the money. I'll take the money. When it comes to character development, none of that really goes anywhere. They don't really ever have that somewhat of conversation. They had a couple of conversations at the film, but none of them really got resolved enough. If anything, only one character storyline really got resolved, and so the other character was kind of slightly thrown towards the side. About this person, like, this person had a very importance in this film. Like, what about this person's storyline and all of that? And that kind of just bleeds into the third act, where my main issue with the third act is that it kind of slows down a tiny bit. Like the pacing of the film kind of like comes to a very halt stance. This is where in the film, like, they know for a fact that this is the guy that kidnapped the kid. So they came up with an idea to lure him away from the kid so they can search this area where this kid possibly is. When they started searching, they became slightly kind of dumb, and it's kind of hard to not point out when they're being dumb, when they've been pretty, you know, smart throughout the whole entire film to handle this situation. Here they're being like a little bit too cautious. And I get you don't know what the situation is, if this guy is alone or if the guy has a partner or associates. So you don't want to go overboard and like start throwing things all over the place and like, Charlotte! But I expect you to pick up the pacing a tiny bit, because you are on a time limit. You know for a fact that this guy could come back any minute now. Splitting up also pretty stupid of them. Like, splitting up in any certain stance, if it's a horror film or thriller or any film at all, it's a very tropey thing, and it's stupid. But it's not as stupid when you don't acknowledge someone like, hey, I'm going to go in this direction. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in this direction. It's like you guys should probably stick to one another. It's like you guys should probably stay close and not go very far. But one goes upstairs, one's still downstairs, and it's like, okay, well, something clearly is bad's gonna happen. Overall, the movie's very thrilling, and the characters most make sense, and not just being like, hey, let's save the day, let's be the good guy. No, like they can actually relate to being this mom who lost their kid to a kidnap situation. I'm gonna give Amber Alert a B minus. Had a good time with this movie. It's very thrilling, and this is a good movie to go out and support in theaters. Better than supporting Megalopolis, whatever that shit show was. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys next review. Bye, guys.